Wow. Well, finally, I'm getting things to work. The enemy just was coming at me hard, bro. And I don't know, man. The adversary just hates when we are being productive and when we're being good. I am what you need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, you can like, share, subscribe. All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. The Most High God right there. Well, there's an icon somewhere there. Most High God comes first. And we about to talk about Terrence Bud Crawford's legacy. We about to talk about Mayweather's legacy a little bit. And we're also about to talk about Ricky the Hitman Hatton's hit legacy. And all of these fighters that I'm talking about in their careers, people, how people are. People try to undermine their legacies and speak bad of them. As if you guys don't know, all three fighters were highly entertaining fighters. Don't let nobody fool you. And first, we will talk a little bit about T-Bud's legacy. Also, who he might fight next, etc., etc., etc. And then we'll go into a little something on Mayweather for a minute and just the lies that they keep on spreading about him. And then we'll also talk a little bit about, quite a lot actually, about Ricky Hatton's legacy, because Ricky Hatton was a hell of a fighter. And I think a lot of people don't realize what kind of pressure fighter he was. He was an interesting pressure fighter, so I'm going to highlight certain things about him. First, let's start off with Terrence Crawford. And in all that smoke, the issue, getting, like $1 million worth of game. I guess they stole that from those two guys. But anyway, Terrence Crawford, according to Roy Jones Jr., he got it from the mud. And what he means by that is he had no special, he came up with top rank, but they didn't really favor him. The top rank was favoring Pacquiao, Lomachenko, everybody but Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, Bob Arum went out to say that, Terrence Crawford was costing him money when every fighter Terrence Crawford had was sold out. Andrew Ward says, I don't hear the smear campaign now. Them voices got really, really quiet. There was a smear campaign on Terrence Crawford that he don't sell, that, he ain't fought nobody, that, Terrence Crawford, is overhyped. How'd he get on the pound for pound #1 list? All these other guys are better. And according to, Andre Ward, which is very true, Terrence Crawford had been the best fighter in the world for a very long time, for decades. After Andre Ward basically retired, I think Terrence Crawford basically took the throne. The way he destroyed opponents, his skill set, the eye test, the fact that he became undisputed. He was one of the first guys to become undisputed. All of that. He wasn't getting the level of opposition he wanted. It's not that he didn't want to fight that level of opposition. He just didn't get the level of opposition to showcase how good he was. And at the same time, even I bought into the bullshit. And I said, when Terrence Crawford was, said he wanted to fight Errol Spence, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that he could fight Errol Spence because I hadn't really thought about the fact that he had fought Brettis Prescott, was a much bigger guy than him in a much bigger weight class. He had fought and he went back down to lightweight. The fact that he was a big lightweight and it was difficult to make weight. And just the wins that he had, he went overseas to beat Ricky Burns. When you put all that into perspective and his development and just how good he was, but Top Rank was telling us that he wasn't really all that good, even though he had beaten Victor Postol, who nobody thought he was going to beat. Okay, I personally didn't think so. I thought Victor Postol with a great jab. He didn't have a whole ton of power, but he had a great jab and all of that. I thought that Victor Postol would have beaten him. I remember that back in the day. I remember when he beat Yuriorkis Gamboa, I was like, that's a bullyism, because it was like Top Rank brought in Terrence Crawford to destroy Yuriorkis Gamboa because Gamboa didn't fight Mikey Garcia. I'll always remember that. And like Bob Arum had a thing out for Gamboa. and they kind of like brought in Terrence Crawford as the assassin to destroy Gamboa. But I'll say this about Terrence Crawford, that even though I kind of doubted Terrence Crawford, I didn't doubt him. I didn't really doubt him when the Errol Spence fight came up but what I didn't expect, I think other people probably expected, but not me, was for him to destroy Errol Spence like that. I didn't know who was going to win that fight. I remember saying, I don't know now. Terrence Crawford, after he beat Sean Porter, I was like, I really don't know. I was still making excuses for Sean Porter. Like, Sean Porter looked like one foot was out the door. His father stopped it prematurely. Now I'm looking at it. Oh, his father saved him from being destroyed by Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the point I'm making is I was also one of those who was out there doubting what Terrence Crawford was. Okay? I started to change my tune, but I still was doubting him, And, he would talk about across the street and how they freeze him out and stuff. And people would point out that, all the world champions with PBC, they didn't ever mention Terrence Crawford. And they slowly started to mention Terrence Crawford. And I didn't realize that Terrence Crawford was that kind of fighter, because I just never thought, like the guys that were coming from Top Rank, like even Shakur, I never really thought that these guys were as good as we said. I was high on Devin Haney, but I wasn't high on none of the others. And I was thinking to myself, why are they saying Shakur so good? Why do they say Terrence Crawford so good? I remember Floyd Mayweather saying that Terrence Crawford is pound for pound the number one fighter in the world. And I remember he saying that long before Terrence Crawford was even in the picture to fight Errol Spence. And I remember Floyd retired in 2015. I heard Roy Jones Jr. say how Floyd avoided Terrence Crawford. And I'm like, you serious? Terrence Crawford wasn't even at welterweight in 2015. If I'm not mistaken, he was at super lightweight, becoming undisputed. So I don't know how. You got to explain to me how Floyd ducked him. You know what I mean? He was nowhere on Floyd's radar. Now Manny Pacquiao ducked his ass because in 2016, Manny Pacquiao, if I'm not mistaken, Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn. And Jeff Horn was a welterweight. Was it 2015? I think it was after Floyd had fought Pacquiao in 2015, so it could be 2016. Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn instead of fighting Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Manny Pacquiao ducked him, but you can't say that Floyd ducked him. I mean, Roy, come on now, Roy. Roy be saying some crazy shit, and I've been looking at Roy like, seriously, bro? Which leaves me sort of overlapping these two legacies. Let's talk a little bit first about something that I find very strange. Some strange comments, but again, if you got Max Kellerman in the picture, you're going to get some weird shit being said. Listen to this. This is just weird.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior welterweights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Okay, that is just wildly false. The first part that's just wild is Max Kellerman saying that after lightweight, Floyd, was ducking opponents and stuff like that. If I do recall, Floyd became his own boss from Top Rank at welterweight. So when Floyd fought Arturo Gatti at super lightweight and DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley, he was under Top Rank. When he fought Zab Judah, all the fights leading up to Zab Judah, he was at welterweight. So if you're gonna make your case that, Floyd started picking and choosing people and not fighting all the guys, not be hungry to fight all the guys, you can't say at lightweight. What the fuck is wrong with you, Max Kellerman? Why are you lying like that? Why do you guys have to lie to try to make a point? That's my problem with you guys. You're dishonest. And Max Kellerman is just absolutely dishonest right now. Like the critter can't stop being dishonest. What is y'all issue with Floyd? Why do y'all hate Floyd so much? Obviously, Max Kellerman hates Floyd. Obviously. You don't make up shit like that. Floyd was with Top Rank all the way up to welterweight, which means Floyd didn't get to pick and choose his fights. He fought who Top Rank was made available for him to fight. He could say, I want to fight this guy and I want to fight that guy. But ultimately, in the end, Top Rank was the ones that would arrange the fights that he would fight. He didn't have that kind of say, which is why he left Top Rank, because Floyd asked Bob Arum to make the Oscar De La Hoya fight. And instead, what did Bob Arum say? He said, yeah, I'll make the Oscar De La Hoya fight, but you got to fight this fight first. And you got to fight this fight first. And Floyd was tired of being strung along. He wanted that Oscar fight. So Al Heyman bought out his contract for him from Top Rank, and Floyd became his own boss. Bob Arum wanted him to fight Antonio Margarito, and Floyd said, there's another option out there, and it's a better option. There's a guy who beat Zab Judah, who everybody wants me to face, okay? And I'm going to face him, Carlos Baldomir, okay? And so Floyd faced Carlos Baldomir, So Max Kellerman is saying, oh, he ducked Antonio Margarito. Oh, he ducked Manny Pacquiao. This is the whole claim. He ducked Paul Williams. This is what these guys keep on going on and on and on about. And when you watch in retrospect, Antonio Margarito cheated. He had loaded raps. He cheated. And Shane Mosley's camp, Nazim Richardson, they caught him cheating. Okay? And Cotto paid the price for that. Cotto never called out Floyd until he left Top Rank. Antonio Margarito wanted to say that Floyd was ducking him. He was a fucking cheat. Paul Williams called out Floyd, right? Floyd went into retirement, so you wouldn't have the rematch with Oscar De La Hoya. But Floyd went into retirement. What did Paul Williams do? The next fight he had, he lost it. So Margarito was calling out Floyd. Margarito lost his next fight. Paul Williams was calling out Floyd. Paul Williams lost his next fight. Right? Paul Williams went up in weight, avenged his loss, and fought at super welterweight for a little bit, and then he went up and fought at middleweight. Okay? So I don't understand what Max Kellerman's talking about. Could Floyd pick and choose his fights? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you what Max Kellerman and all these jokers hang their hats on. By the way, for the record, Paul Williams was not the best fighter in the world at the time he was calling out Floyd. All right. He wasn't even the best welterweight in the world when he was calling out Floyd. And also Antonio Margarito, who had the WBO title, which was like as good as an IBO title, wasn't the best welterweight in the world either when Bob Arum wanted him to fight Floyd. The best welterweight in the world was Carlos Baldomir. After Floyd fought Carlos Baldomir, because he couldn't get the Oscar fight that year, he went on to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Now, I'm going to ask y'all a simple question. This is common sense. Should Floyd have not faced Oscar De La Hoya and fought Antonio Margarito, who lost the fight right after Bob Arum was making this big deal about him fighting Floyd? Paul Williams beats Antonio Margarito. Sloppy ass, got a nice work rate, but sloppy ass Paul Williams. No disrespect to Paul Williams, but motherfucker, you ain't no Tommy Hearns, you ain't no fucking Marvin Hagler. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And Antonio Margarito was basic Without them loaded gloves, he wasn't doing shit. He never beat nobody after his loaded gloves was discovered, and Shane Mosley whooped his ass. He was nothing after that. He didn't win no fights. He never became a world champion after that. Okay, so y'all still holding it on Floyd that he didn't face a fucking cheater. You're gonna have to excuse my F-bombs. And y'all holding it against Floyd that he didn't fight this sloppy guy who beat a fucking cheater. I mean, how the fuck? Okay, Paul Williams, he beat an old ass Winky Wright, right? He had one win against Sergio Martinez, and Sergio Martinez knocked his ass out the next fight. Okay? Let's think about Paul Williams' career. He got what I consider a very close decision against Erislandy Lara, who, in my opinion, was whooping his ass coming down the stretch. Okay? But they gave him the decision anyway. All right? That's Paul Williams' career. Now, which you prefer? Floyd face a Hall of Famer, because Paul Williams is not going to be a Hall of Famer. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer. Okay? Antonio Margarito was never going to be a Hall of Famer. That motherfucking cheat? No way. Okay? So which do you prefer? That Floyd faced Oscar fucking De La Hoya, or he forgo that to face a fucking cheat and a sloppy ass fighter who's got a lot of activity, but he really fight in close in Paul Williams. How many times we got to see that? Diego Corrales, Floyd beat Diego Corrales, Gennaro Hernandez. All right, these are guys who were greater fighters and better fighters than Paul Williams, hands down. And they were bigger, longer fighters. They were bigger and longer than Floyd. Shane fucking Mosley was longer and taller than Floyd. Oscar fucking De La Hoya, longer and taller than Floyd. And way better fighters than sloppy ass Paul Williams and fucking cheating ass Margarito. Why are we talking about these guys? They were not even the best in the world at the time. But because fucking ass Bob Arum says Floyd's ducking them, he has to face them. Get the fuck out of here. When you have better fighters and Floyd want to face better fighters, do you know how many Hall of Famers Floyd has on his resume? He has 12. 12. Okay? So I don't understand what the fuck Max Kellerman is trying to say. Okay? Except he's throwing shots at Floyd, and he continues to lie and throw shots at Floyd. Now he's saying that Floyd, he fought the best only up to lightweight. That's bullshit. He fought the best up to welterweight, up to super welterweight. The only weight class where Floyd did not face the very best fighter was at super lightweight. And that was because Costa Tszyu got his ass beat by Ricky Hatton, which we will talk about in a second. Costa Tszyu didn't have no great set of footwork. I'm going to show y'all something because a lot of y'all just don't know boxing. Y'all don't know boxing, and it's sad. It's very, very sad. So I'm going to show y'all something. And y'all spread this video. It's not going to take that long because I got to get out of here and I got to go work. We're already 18 minutes in. Let me show you guys something, okay? So, Mr. Disingenuous Max Kellerman says, a lot of rubbish. But first, I'm going to show y'all something. Because as we all know, Ricky Hatton was a special fighter. He wasn't the most orthodox fighter in the world, but there's a lot of things I want to show you. But first, let me introduce you to Ricky Hatton and his legacy. So we're talking about Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, and Ricky Hatton's legacy, which Ricky Hatton's legacy is overlaps with Floyd's legacy, but nonetheless. Ricky Hatton was a special fighter in that Ricky Hatton had quick feet and quick hands. He was a pressure fighter. He was an inside fighter, but he had very quick feet and very quick hands. Now, I want to show you guys something.
I always believed that I could do it. We watched him against Sam Jordan. We went over to Las Vegas to watch him, and we thought to ourselves, if we stick on his chest where he can't get the leverage in for his big right hand, as dangerous the tactics were, that's the way he would do it. And if you could get on him and just lean on him and sort of suffocate him a little bit, keep constant body attack on him, and that's what did it. Me and Billy knew we could do that, and dangerous tactics, but
That's Ricky Hatton telling you the strategy that he utilized against Costa Zoo. All right, so he basically was smothering Costa Zoo, in the meantime attacking his body. And that's how they broke him down. And that's how they beat the great Costa Zoo. Now, y'all want to say that Floyd dog Costa Zoo. Costa Zoo had cement for feet. He had cement for feet. That's how he got all his leverage and power. His big thing was his right hand. He had a good jab. Let me show you guys something. So this is Ricky Hatton versus Costa Zoo. I want you to see how quick Ricky Hatton was with his feet. Okay? We're talking about legacy, so let's go there.
Must all of my colleagues give Ricky Hatton no chance? I don't feel that way. Maybe because I've been here before and seen him and seen the energy that flows when he fights. I give him a real good chance. He has to get inside, stay inside, take away Zoo's advantages, set a fast pace, and fight the fight of his life. I think he's capable of doing it.
So range was everything with this fight. Okay? Range was everything with this fight. See, Ricky Hatton, he is an inside fighter. And he used his physical size, his body, to beat down and wear down fighters. He also had a tremendous body attack. He had a left hook to the body, right hooks to the body, ripped those shots to the body. He had a leaping jabs that would spear chest into your chest. He put his head in your chest like Henry Armstrong, like Roberto Duran. He loved Roberto Duran, by the way, and he copied things off of Roberto Duran. He'd get underneath hooks and stuff like that. He also shift his weight from right to left, and he also slip punches. A lot of things that Ricky Hatton did was really good, and some of them were instinctual. Some of them were just tremendously unorthodox. And I'm going to show you some of the unorthodox shit he used to do. But he was tenacious. He never let up on you. You never got a breathing second with him, as Roy and Andre Ward already talked about. And boy, I mean, if you're not up to the task, you're going to get destroyed by him, because he really brought the thunder. All right, so, and the other thing about Ricky Hatton, like Roberto Duran, was between fights, he would blow up to like 200 pounds. This guy was, he loved to eat. So he was big and he was strong. So think of a 200-pound guy shrinking down to 140 pounds, 147 pounds. That's why he could take a punch. That's why he had a hell of a chin. He used to ride punches too. Don't get it twisted. Ride and roll punches. But the point is that Ricky Hatton was something. Unlike pressure fighters who are usually flat-footed, Ricky Hatton wasn't flat-footed. Ricky Hatton was on his toes all the time. And he'd come at you. He had very, very quick feet. So he could close the distance very, very fast. He was very explosive. I'm going to show you now. Let's keep it going.
Undisputed champion. And I believe I'm going to do it.
Ricky Hitman Hatton!
I'm a universal fighter. I can do lots of different things. And that's a danger for my opponent, because they don't know what to expect.
The thing with Costa Zoo was he was pinpoint accurate. He was a very accurate puncher. He was like a sharpshooter. He was like but he had power with it. Like he had thudding power with it. So, he could catch you with one shot and knock you out. As you know, the great Costa Zoo beat people like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Zab Super Judah. He beat guys, great fighters of his era. You think of all the great fighters of his era, including he fought the great Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's uncle, and in a war of attrition, by the way. I thought Roger won, but nonetheless, whatever. So, Costa Zoo fought a lot of great fighters and good fighters and world champions, He knocked out, Julio Cesar Chavez. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about Costa Azul, who himself is a Hall of Famer, and Ricky Hatton beat him, it's impressive. So let me show you what Ricky Hatton did, because Ricky Hatton was no joke.
I've been boss for so many years, and I will be boss there.
Now, one guy that nobody expected to beat Costa Azul was Vince Phillips. Vince Phillips was a good fighter, and I'm going to show you what Ricky Hatton did to Vince Phillips. You see, Ricky Hatton was a guy that overwhelmed you with activity, body punching. He overwhelmed me. He all up in your chest. He's all up on you. You know what I'm saying? He come in with all kinds of strange things. I'm going to tell you about some of it. And actually, you'll see some of it in this video. So let's keep it real.
Showing the energy of this crowd.
Right, so
coming forward. Tactics.
All right, so from the get-go, Ricky Hatton's using what we call a leaping spear jab. You don't see that shit anywhere. It's very unorthodox. Ricky Hatton will literally leap in with a spear jab. You know about the leaping left hook, but you don't know about the leaping jab. And this motherfucker, he started off almost initially, and he leaped in with two spear jabs, pushing Costa Azul back. And the speed at which he moves, look how quickly his feet move. All right, let's keep it going.
Early by the hometown Hatton. Hatton continues to apply the intense. Hatton not even bothering to defend as in convincing fashion in November. Now, in this fight, maybe he still will, but he hasn't so far. Good work by Zhu for a moment. Pace.
See that? You see how quickly, and the thing about Ricky Hatton is he could dart in, jab you with a leaping jab, and dart back out. He could be in and out like that. He was an in and out fighter as well. So this was a whole other level of fighting, that I never seen before. And yeah, okay, he's not technically correct on a lot of things, but his speed and his quickness, and also his body attack, and the fact that he smothers you so you don't have no room to throw punches while he's landing punches on you and ducking underneath your shots, your hooks and stuff. And he just worked at such a high work rate at a high tempo that he could tire out fighters, So this is the thing with Ricky Hatton. Let's keep it moving. You see the sniper versus the swarmer. Ricky Hatton swarming him. He's just swarming him. Lovely jab. That's how she did.
We saw it against South Judah, against Shambe Mitchell. He had Mitchell down 4 times. Hey, Paris is trying to take control here. Back to work. He said he needed that rest. He fights a very strong. That was the big hope.
Beautiful sniping by Zhu, but it's not enough. Great right hand. You saw Ricky Hatton with his hardest punch, and Ricky Hatton just kept on coming. Look at that. Oh, shit. Hit him in his balls.
Zhu not precise with his counterpunching in this round. I think that we're going to find out something about Ricky Hatton. Hatton looking to finish strong here with well-timed and accurate, quick and straight. High punch volume by Hatton. That's the first really good body shot, but Costa Azul doing some pretty good counterpunching now. Oh, good hook by Hatton. There's the jab by Hatton, countering straight right.
Leaping jab.
And who has the most left?
Let me tell you, that leaping jab had power behind it. You see how he knocked back Costa Azul? He's still knocking him back here. That's how Hatton would knock you back, with a leaping jab. It's some crazy shit Ricky Hatton used to do, man. Crazy motherfucker. He could give you leaping left hooks from way out. You don't think that he could cover that ground and catch you. You rocked him back trying to get out of the shot, and he still catch you with the shot. I remember Julio Cesar Chavez versus Roger Mayweather when he came through with a leaping right hand. Well, Ricky Hatton does that too. He comes in with leaping right hands, leaping left hands. This motherfucker crazy, like the Tasmanian devil, and he don't stop. He don't stop. That's why I said y'all have no idea how good this guy was. Yeah, okay, Floyd knocked him out. Okay. But he was really, really good. We're going to go into it. We're going to show you. I'm going to show you, showcase him. I'm going to give him his props in post-mortem, unfortunately, after his death.
As he heads down the stretch in a battle of attrition with one that has hurt him.
And gosh,
Stylistically, this fight was working for the most part in Ricky Hatton's favor. It may have helped Hatton in the story.
Great right hand that landed by Costa Tzu.
This fight, while it will be all action, and you can see, I'm talking about whether the judges will be influenced by this crowd. It makes him restive. We'll find out who's right.
Tzu with almost a dazed look on his face.
What happened?
I should say the perceived strategy. Left hook there to the head by. They feel the tide has turned. The last 3 rounds for Costa Tzu. And straight ahead, Ricky Hatton marching on, missing with the left.
He can't be on the ropes, Cos. We've got to bring him on the big right hand, mate. We've got to get him with it. He still tries to set us up. And he'll come out with a fucking big bomb again.
No anger, apparently. And they both come in throwing, winging.
Tzu is counterpunching much better early in this round, and that was a monstrous right hand. Very interesting territory in this fight. It's obviously got to be close on the scorecard.
Tzu said he wanted to keep the fight from a distance. The welt under the eye of Costa Tzu. Hatton comes out winging.
Just mauling his
I will
ass.
say this
Just
is a
mauling
flat
him.
performance by Costa
Ricky Hatton was just a beast, man.
His strategy
Vicious.
jumping right on Tzu here. Tzu.
He takes something to win, though. But because he was so big,
Remember Costa Tzu.
he's a big guy coming down in weight.
There's Hatton ribbing to the body on the inside. He has not gotten too much
By Ricky. 2 AL. And Tzu missing wildly there. And back comes Ricky Hatton.
Collected a
school on this.
straight jab, a right hand, and the right hands were not helping, man. Ricky would not be denied. He would not be denied, y'all.
Continuing to press forward.
Great right hand by Costa Tzu, but Paris with
He
words.
was real hungry, boy.
Ricky Hatton, the underdog for the first time in his 38-fight career.
Showing as much of the boxing skill as he did against Ben Tackey. He's been more of a brawler here, and yet he's getting away with it. Maybe that's by design. He doesn't want to get countered over on the top.
That's right. Not being very predictable.
There's the notion that if Hatton can get through
See,
about
the more
4 or 5
unorthodox
rounds,
you
the
are,
pendulum might swing.
the more
Here a
boxers
couple of
haven't
weeks
seen
ago,
that
the
shit,
acclamation
and that's what makes you dangerous. Look at that. Look at that. He collects a punch and he's still landing. Oh, shit. You hit him in the balls.
It's down. But they're calling it a slip.
It's the first one of its kind from Hatton.
Damn. See that leaping jab?
Tenacious. A bundle of energy who looks to dominate.
Distance Ricky Hatton.
It's inside. This is where you want to be in the phone booth.
Especially for these early rounds.
Use his weight side to wear down the older veteran.
You'll hear a roar.
Inside by Tzu, but it doesn't deter Hatton. He keeps coming.
Great right hand by
He
Ricky
just
Hatton.
keeps coming,
No
boy.
knockdown.
He just
Right
keeps
hand
coming.
by Ricky Hatton, but it didn't have full impact. Slightest mistake. That's when Tzu strikes.
Tzu's best left hook and his best right hand. You get hit with his best right hand like that, and you're
You
down.
love being in the phone booth, baby. You love this right here. Smother his ass.
The Manchester
And beat him
Evening
down.
News Arena. Ricky Hatton firing away.
You see Hatton push
Vicious
him off. It's
motherfucker.
almost like an act of bravado. Saying, hey,
Ordinarily Hatton with age. That the Tzu at 35
Would not be
destroyed
denied.
The Tzu at 25 is
He
keeping
didn't have a problem walking through fire, baby. He goes foul for a punch. Hatton was taking that and giving him some.
he would really be able to get some things done. Consistent that the longer this fight went, the more likely Hatton. But these fighters both going for it.
Yeah.
just walked into one pivotal in this fight.
There you go. There you go.
And you're right about Tzu. He can lull you into a false sense of confidence.
when it landed.
And jab.
It says no more shenanigans. It is that close. Hatton is not throwing the uppercut, thickening here. The roar every time Hatton even comes close to landing. Sue showing the jab. But he continues to fire bombs. They weigh in again the morning of the fight.
Inside fighting, bro.
A barrage by Ricky Hatton. Right hand landed to the chin. Here's that left hook sticking to the body by Sue. And remember, Hatton was knocked down by a counter right hand by Eamon McGee early in the fight. Hatton has fought every second of every round and not given Costa a chance to rest. If Sue is on, Hatton will have to be able to counter him as he comes in. Although there was a nice right hand, but it's not hurting Hatton as he comes in when he does get him. It's assault. And then he was able to land good body shots. Sue would want Dave Paris to break them now, but he's not doing it. Coming into this fight. So this one really raising some eyebrows. And Costa did nothing to take advantage of that. He's a tired fighter. It's also about Costa slowing down at age 35. And that's to take nothing away from Hatton's performance. It's been superb. It's over. It's over.
Ricky Hatton beat Costa Zoo. He beat him down, made him quit, made him retire on his stool. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Hatton was a beast, man. He was a beast. Now, y'all say that, Costa Zoo, Floyd Mayweather ducked Costa Zoo. He didn't duck Costa Zoo. He wanted Costa Zoo. He wanted Costa Zoo since he was at super featherweight. But Ricky Hatton got the opportunity because Costa Zoo didn't know who Floyd Mayweather was. He knew who Ricky Hatton was, and Ricky Hatton beat his ass. Now, having said that, that's the only division where Floyd did not face the best fighter. He faced the next best fighter, who was the number 2 guy in the division, which was Arturo Gatti, and he destroyed him. Okay, Gatti was a sitting duck, and Zoo would have been a sitting duck too, because Zoo was flat-footed. He wasn't fleet of foot. Floyd was fleet of foot, man. And that's the thing a lot of y'all don't understand. Crawford beat Canelo because Canelo, he don't move his feet like that. You know what I mean? So, and speaking about that, let me just go to something I needed to tell you guys. So let's just talk about Terrence Crawford. I know Turki Al-Sheikh, actually. Turki Al-Sheikh, where is that? Turki Al-Sheikh, he wanted, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere around here. Oh, I'm on Twitter. Let's go to Twitter here. On Twitter here. Right. Turki Al-Sheikh says, can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds? Turki Al-Sheikh also saying, the Mexican monster David Benavidez will be making his Ryder season debut in the month of November when he defends his WBC light heavyweight title against dangerous challenger Anthony Yarde. So Anthony Yarde is supposed to be facing in November David Benavidez. And the whole card is this here. David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde for the WBC light heavyweight championship of the world. Bevo was stripped of that. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. For Brian Norman Jr.'s welterweight championship title. Abdullah Mason is going to be facing Sam Noakes, I believe, for Sam Noakes' championship title. And I think Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez is also supposed to be facing Fernando Martinez for Jesse Rodriguez's titles. So this is going to be a championship night. And this is going to be dope as hell. It's going to be in November. Here's Denzel Washington talking about Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez.
How you can throw your hands. I know you're a big boxing fan. Come on, Crawford. You talked about how you could throw your hands. I know you're a big boxing fan. Crawford, Canelo coming up. Who you guys got? Don't take the easy road out on me.
Listen. In our gym, Crawford sits right there, and Canelo sits right here. That's why you play the game. We're gonna find out But I'll say this, and I love Crawford. Canelo's a bigger man. He ain't never been hit by a man like this. But Crawford's a great, great fighter. One of the greatest I've ever seen. I love Crawford. I try to be like him. I love Canelo. I can't call it. I won't call it.
When is the fight?
13th.
September 13th.
Who you like?
Okay. I'm going with Canelo, man.
He's just
Canelo's
because
great.
he's a bigger dude. I don't know, but Crawford's a great. We're gonna find out. I'm glad Crawford finally had to fight.
Turkey L. She says, Mr. Denzel Washington, it's an honor to invite you to attend Canelo versus Crawford in Las Vegas. To me, you're one of the most important actors in the world. Denzel always goes to them fights. He's a big fight fan. But obviously Crawford won. So yeah, but the David Benavidez thing, Turkey Al-Sheikh trying to get David Benavidez to come down to 160 to fight Crawford. That was one of the options out there. But David Benavidez, he's not going to be doing that. Even before that happened, that question was posed to David Benavidez, and here's what he said.
More like a 60-40, only because of the weight difference, but you can't take Crawford's skill away. You have to give him credit for his skill. He's an amazing fighter, he's an amazing technician in the ring, and I think it's like 60-40.
David, Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo.
No, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175. More like...
So David Benavidez, he turns that down. He says, I'm at 175. I ain't going to fight Crawford. And I heard David Benavidez's father saying that he could still make 168. But I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see David Benavidez go back to 168 to fight Crawford. But hey, whatever. And from what I hear, that's not really on the cards. But anyway, listen to Crawford.
Would you ever entertain a fight with David Benavidez?
You gotta understand.
I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't,
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. His brother was big when I fought him. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something. Then he's gonna come in 190, 200 probably. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, that's a big dude.
And he's skilled.
I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Yeah, I understand what you're looking at. You're like, you know what?
You just size them up.
Yeah.
You just size them up, especially when you're going into a bigger weight class like that. You size them up and you see your advantages.
All right, so that's what's that. Now, that doesn't mean that Crawford mightn't fight David Benavidez. If that happens, I favor Crawford. I don't care what nobody say. Crawford versus Usyk, I favor Crawford. That's what you're going to get from me. But yeah, Crawford kind of makes a point that David Benavidez is basically a cruiserweight. In fact, even though David Benavidez is fighting Anthony Yard, they're looking at maybe after that going up to cruiserweight and fighting the champion at cruiserweight. I forgot his name right now. I don't know why I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. Actually, I could just look it up. I could just look it up. This is Ricky Hatton. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about Ricky Hatton in a minute. I don't know why we froze up like that. Okay, good. Hold on. I just can't remember his name. It's at the tip of my tongue, but it's not there. It's 2:00 already, guys. I gotta go. Here we are. I can't remember your name. I can't remember your name. I don't know why you gotta be like that. Where's the list of the cruiserweight champions? Why are y'all like that, man? This is a chronology. Well, show me, motherfucker. Y'all really play up your motherfucking ass. So fucking annoying. All right. Current Gilberto Ramirez. That's the one. He's the WBA, WBO champion. So if David Benavidez, wins in this fight, he may not go on to face Bivol or Beterbiev, but he may actually jump up to cruiserweight to try to fight Gilberto Ramirez. I could not get that before. Okay. So with respect to Crawford, it said, I heard Blue Blood Sports TV was saying that Crawford's probably going to stay at 168 and he's going to fight somebody. Could be Jamal Charlo. Could be Mal. Could be Andrade. Could be Plant. One of those guys. Or it could be to defend the championship if Canelo don't stay and fight, I think it's Hamad Shariz or something like that. Even though, what's his name? Turkey Al-Sheikh, he was saying that Canelo, he's encouraging Canelo to stay on, keep on fighting, encouraging Crawford to stay, keep on fighting, and fight, whoever, So we'll see. Okay, in terms of Ricky Hatton, it's a bad motherfucker, right? Ricky Hatton beat the following champions. They left out somebody, but I'll get to it. Freddie Pendleton, Vince Phillips. Vince Phillips is the guy that beat Costa Tszyu, Carlos Mausa, Juan Urango. I'll show you those fights, by the way. Jose Luis Castillo, and they forgot Luis Collazo. I guess because Luis Collazo kind of matches Luis Castillo, I guess they forgot to put that in. Paulie Malignaggi, he lost to Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Vyacheslav Senchenko. Okay. He won against Costa Tszyu, who was a Hall of Famer, and he lost to Floyd and Pacquiao. Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys that in terms of, and he's, of course, in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, as you guys already know. But I want to show you guys a little bit more stuff, if you will allow me to show you more stuff. So we talked about Ricky Hatton. Here he is against Carlos Mausa, who he was the WBA, I believe it was, 140-pound champion. He just beaten the guy that was supposed to, he said he wanted to face Floyd, but he beat him under the same card when Floyd was fighting Arturo Gatti. All right, check this out. This is what I'm telling you about Ricky Hatton. Check this shit out.
The Colombian Carlos Mausa
in the ninth round to unify he mixes up with a lead right hand and leaping left hook. Knocks this motherfucker out. Cold. That's Ricky Hatton for you. I mean, he put his all into shit. In the Juan Urango fight, I thought it was great because you see the boxing skills of Ricky Hatton. He was actually in and out boxing this guy. That's it. In and out. Tipping underneath. Really good skill. Juan Urango was undefeated and he was knocking out everybody. He was a Colombian fighter. He had the idea of title at the time. So I thought that was really cool. He outpointed the guy and beat him, confused him. The guy was expecting Ricky Hatton to go toe-to-toe with him, and he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So that was Juan Urango. You saw Carlos Mausa. We got Ricky Hatton versus Luis Collazo. This was when he won the WBA welterweight title. This was a good fucking fight. Check this out.
The challenger, former light welterweight champion of the world, the undefeated fighting pride of Manchester, England, Ricky Hatton. The reigning, defending WBA welterweight champion of the world.
Neutralizing southpaw, by the way. Knocked him down. Notice how he used the lead hand to find him. See the lead hand right there to find him, catch him with the left hook, put him down real easy, knock down a welterweight, a bona fide welterweight at that. This guy didn't grow into welterweight; he's a bona fide welterweight. The Louis Collazo will prove to be a very tough fight for Ricky Hatton. Because Collazo wasn't going down like that, y'all. Collazo, by the way, was an undefeated fighter like Wani Rango. Catch him with the left hand right there. Hey, Louis Collazo doing this thing, baby.
It's got a bit of blood around the mouth, I think, Collazo too. Ricky's just taken too many a couple of times there. Ricky has had more punches than he's used to doing. Ricky usually keeps himself so busy that he can't do much with
Not on the run. He's there to have a fight, and he got caught with a left to the funny great right hand. Right absolutely loving this. Collazo from New York. The legs got intertwined there.
Caught him good there. He heard Hatton right there. Hatton's just a fucking beast, though.
DJLiveLeaks.com.
What a right hook.
That might break Collazo's heart a bit. He landed flush and for a moment back he comes again with an extra assault wave. And we keep remembering Edward's bigger guy, the longer it goes, the tougher it gets. Great left hook from Hatton.
So it was a good fight in which Collazo hurt Ricky Hatton really bad in the 12th round, had him staggering all over the ring, but he couldn't finish him. It was a great fight. A great fight. Ricky Hatton always in great fights, by the way. Yeah. Then, of course, we got Ricky Hatton versus Floyd Mayweather, where Floyd Mayweather kind of like messed up Ricky Hatton's chin. That's this year. But not before Ricky Hatton did him something. Check this out.
And when he does that, he drops his right hand and he's open for the left hook constantly. Counter left hook. And Mayweather nailed him. He hadn't.
Nice right hand by Ricky Hatton. Leaping jab, baby. The leaping jab. Another leaping jab. Hatton really was beating up Floyd in a way early on.
With Ricky Hatton on the assault round two. Trying to drive a veteran referee in. Ricky, Dave, I see what you mean here. It's Floyd's plan, but Floyd really can't.
Hatton again coming at his ass. Hatton was just coming at him.
Let them fight as much as he can to the inside.
Just coming at him.
Keep it clean. Hatton had his best moment, and it was taken away. He's taking away the style of one of the fighters that win this fight. Hatton is
salt. He's just too quick. Mayweather engages when he decides. See that left hook to the head come in. Look at these guys. We just watch and see how he does it. Chopping right hand.
As Floyd said, Ricky Hatton came to fight, Ninja. Came to fight.
Left hook like that on top of the liver will drop any man. Floyd Mayweather or anybody else. Because he caught him with two real good right hands. And you know, everything that happens.
The important thing there is that in the eyes of Joe Cortez, that's opened by a punch.
He needs to try and pressure Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather cracks him with both hands now, showing the hand speed. Look at the elbow continually in the middle.
He needs to get in, then take a little step back and unload.
All that went on in there, there was one good uppercut came up. He's getting, you know, this is in his mind the way he needs to fight this fight. He doesn't want to be muscled by this guy. The smart thing would be to fight the way he always has. But you know, to this fight.
Well, you know, we talked about, well, he's already the best fighter in the world. He could be outside.
David. Look at this.
Floyd tried to piece him up now.
Against De La Hoya, and he's already said. Hatton comes in, tries to keep the pressure smothered.
Exactly what we were saying, Ben. Get in, but then step back.
Left shoulder, and he rolls back and forth. They may have it because Oscar De La Hoya couldn't do it. Hatton does.
Floyd started spacing him out with the lead hand. Now he's chopping him down. Wow.
Look at this.
Mayweather rocked him.
He rocked him.
And got away with a low one, too.
That was the first time the heels get out of Hatton. He's all over right now. This is vintage Floyd Mayweather. He can't drop him.
Hatton caught him with a right hand, though. Stop that, I think.
You know,
That may have been the beginning of the end. It's up to Hatton to prove otherwise. This is by Hatton on the inside.
Hatton's six in your ass, boy. He don't let you get away from shit. He's coming.
Being forced to reload.
He coming.
Because Mayweather catches him and disrupts him.
He made Floyd fight.
and he's giving it to him.
Hatton has been gritty, get on the inside, but now Mayweather.
This is round 10. Scheduled for 12.
Whether Hatton sticking to his tail.
Oh, shit.
Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the turnbuckle. And he's very, very wobbly. A left hook came like a bolt out of the blue. But the 7 and 8. His eyes are clear, but his leg socks are still not there. Floyd knows it. This is the beginning of the end.
He won't let him off.
There he is, all over.
Yeah, that was a hell of a fight, by the way. Ricky Hatton fought his ass off. And I'm telling you, man, it took Floyd a long time to get adjusted to that shit and then started to turn the tables on Ricky Hatton. But, man, Ricky Hatton was bringing it. He was bringing the thunder. He really was. And, of course, we know about Ricky Hatton versus Manny Pacquiao. But, again, he was bringing the thunder. And, again, those quick feet make a difference. But Pacquiao and Floyd have quick feet as well. So they kind of neutralized what he was doing. Oh, another thing, though, I got to say, Ricky Hatton's, granite chin was no longer granite after he got beat by Floyd. Floyd softened him up a bit. I think mentally he wasn't the same guy after Floyd had tapped that chin. Because Ricky Hatton had got hit on his chin a couple times. I told you, Louis Collazo did something on him, too. But, he still had that granite chin in the sense that, usually he take a good punch, but then after Floyd, it was very difficult. And Pacquiao and Freddie Roach came up with a game plan to beat, Ricky Hatton, and though Ricky Hatton had faced southpaws before, not like this one. This one was quick.
Both on the toes.
With
a lot of fire.
Hatton coming very fast at Pacquiao.
And fights in close.
And he's caught him hurt a couple times with that right hook coming in. I'll tell you who's going to be key in this fight is the referee. He's going to allow him to play into that style, to work into that midsection,
Pacquiao taking the shots to the body from Hatton, and this is turning into a brawl, which is exactly the kind of fight Ricky Hatton would want. Lands another right hand. Was really challenged in his last fight. Oh, Kurt, beautiful shot. Combination. Oh, down here in the first.
Freddie Roach predicted the third round. He said it as a joke to annoy Mayweather. He might have been a little too conservative.
And Hatton's in trouble again. Final 10 seconds of round one, and Hatton's down for the second count.
These were clean, perfect shots landed by Pacquiao. Look at that. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that.
Ricky Hatton had never been knocked down at 140 pounds.
Hatton is still trying to shake out his legs. Look at him with his legs. He's still feeling the effects of that knockdown.
The movement of Pacquiao keeping Hatton in trouble.
Manny Pacquiao never fails to surprise me with what he brings to the table. It's always a little better than I thought.
That's it.
Yeah, that fight with Hatton said that really destroyed him. He knew he was done after that. I think Floyd broke him. I think Pacquiao destroyed him. You know, they destroyed his career, and he had suffered with depression and all kinds of things afterwards. But I'll tell you this though, Ricky Hatton was a special fighter, like I said before. He had this awkwardness about him, and then on top of that, when I say awkwardness, I mean like he'd do things like leaping, jabs. He did things like in and out fighting, just like Pacquiao. He was in and out. The thing with Ricky Hatton was he thrived really well against fighters who didn't have as quick feet as he did. If you could match his foot speed, you could neutralize what he was trying to do. And then fundamentally, if you're more fundamentally sound than him, you could really make him pay for it. You know who kind of Manny Pacquiao remind me of? Prince Nassim Hamed. Prince Nassim Hamed was very gifted, but once he met a fundamentally sound guy like Marco Antonio Barrera, he got his ass beat up. Well, it's the same thing with Ricky Hatton. Because he's not as fundamentally sound as those other guys, he used to get his ass beat. So Floyd had the same kind of foot speed. Pacquiao had the same kind of foot speed. Floyd solved Ricky Hatton. Everybody knew that Ricky Hatton was always open when he was charging at you for the left hand, right? Whether it's a left hook or whatever. They knew that, but he always seemed to manage to get away. You saw Floyd hit him with a number of check hooks, didn't put him away, right? Because Ricky Hatton, he moved just enough to ride the punch as he's coming in. Except that moment in the 10th round when Floyd perfectly timed him. He was beating him up anyway. Perfectly timed him and caught him. Well, Freddie Roach saw that and knew, okay, we're going to distract him with the right hook and then we're going to catch him with the left hand at the right time. And you see Ricky Hatton was frozen in space, dropped his left hand as he was about to, throw the Pacquiao just threw that left hand and put him to sleep. Like he got caught so flush it wasn't funny, really just got a good whack at him. And that was it for Ricky Hatton's career. He did fight, as we said, Senchenko, but he was stopped, I think, in the 11th round. But really, his career was over. And he fought at welterweight again. He went up to welterweight to fight, and that was it. But I wanted to show you the skills of Ricky Hatton. Watch this. He could box.
I was sitting on grabbing
He could box. So don't get it. He was an elite fighter. He could box, but he liked to bang. But his banging was systematic. He was trying to get to the inside to maul you, to smother you, and then land his shots on you. And he used his physical weight and size on you. And he did that with Floyd as well. Floyd is also physically strong. People said that, Floyd was, a welterweight. And, Hatton was really a junior welterweight. He was a junior welterweight champion. He was the best junior welterweight champion. But Hatton fought at welterweight, as you saw, and beat the very tough, tricky Louis Collazo, who was a southpaw. Remember, he fought Louis Collazo, who was a southpaw. So Patton facing Pacquiao, there was just another southpaw. The difference was Louis Collazo's feet wasn't as quick as Ricky Hatton's, whereas Manny Pacquiao's feet was as quick as Ricky Hatton. Everything comes down to the footwork. I always wanted to let you guys know that, right? Guys who have, quick, agile feet, they're always going to be a problem. Floyd beat Pacquiao because Floyd had quick, agile feet. He had more length than Pacquiao, but that means shit, right? So there's these things that you got to bear in mind when you're talking about boxing, all right? Yeah, so that's what I got for you. That's it. Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton's legacies. Ricky Hatton being, of course, in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Of course, he's just recently died a couple of days ago. And it's so tragic. And I still don't understand because he was preparing for a fight. He had everything to live for. Why is he dead? What happened? Was it an accident? What happened? And we don't know. And I would like to know because they saying, in respect for Ricky Hatton, I don't want to hear that. Did somebody murder him? What happened? So somebody needs to talk about this because it's something that kind of distresses me. Ricky Hatton's younger than I am. I'm 50 years old. He would die at 46. I thought it was 47. He's died at 46. That's crazy, man. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys. I'm What You Need. You guys have a good one. Anybody leave any comments or any things in the chat? Let me see. We said it. Crawford was too much for Canelo. No footwork, no problem. Yeah, John Tay Weaver. Yep. But I was just telling you guys about Ricky Hatton because he was a great fighter. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. The stream's about to end, so I'm going to catch you guys later. I'm What You Need.